The courtroom door swung open with a heavy creak, like the lid of a coffin being pried apart, and I stepped inside, the fluorescent lights buzzing overhead like angry hornets. My heart pounded in my chest, a war drum echoing the fury I'd bottled up for months. But nothing prepared me for that moment. The sight of my daughter, Emily, sitting in the witness box, her lips curling into a sharp, mocking laugh as our eyes met. It wasn't a nervous giggle or a sound of relief. It was cold, deliberate, laced with triumph. Beside her, my son-in-law, David, averted his gaze, staring at the scuffed wooden floor as if it held the secrets to his salvation. His shoulders hunched, fingers twisting the wedding ring I'd paid for, the one that symbolized the family I'd built from nothing. Humiliation crashed over me like a tidal wave, hot and suffocating. My knees buckled slightly, but I caught myself on the railing, the polished brass cold under my palm. The judge's gavel rapped sharply, calling order, but the sound faded into the roar in my ears. Emily. My little girl, the one I'd raised alone after her mother died in that godforsaken car accident 20 years ago. Laughing at me. At her own father, on trial for fraud because of the lies they'd spun. David, the golden boy I'd welcomed into our home, mentored in the business, couldn't even meet my eyes. Betrayal wasn't just a word. It was a knife twisting in my gut, carving out pieces of my soul. I sank into the defendant's chair, the cheap vinyl creaking under my weight, and whispered to my lawyer, "Did you see that?" He nodded grimly, but his eyes held pity, not fire. Pity. As if I were already a broken man. The prosecutor began his opening statement, painting me as a greedy tyrant who'd embezzled from the family construction firm I'd founded with my bare hands. But I knew the truth. David had cooked the books, siphoned funds into offshore accounts, and when I confronted him, Emily had chosen sides. Her husband over her father. The evidence they'd fabricated, forged signatures, altered emails, had landed me here, fighting for my freedom while they sat pretty, ready to inherit it all. As the proceedings dragged on, my mind raced through the memories, each one a fresh wound. Emily as a child, her tiny hand in mine as we walked through the rain-slicked streets after her mother's funeral. I'd worked double shifts, built Harlan Construction from a one-man operation into a multimillion-dollar empire, all for her. When she met David in college, a charming finance major with a disarming smile, I'd been thrilled. He seemed perfect, ambitious, respectful, the son I never had. I brought him into the fold, taught him the ropes, even let him handle the finances when my health faltered after a heart scare 2 years ago. But cracks appeared slowly, like hairline fractures in concrete. Missing receipts, unexplained withdrawals. I dismissed them at first. Age catching up, I thought. Until I hired a private auditor. The report hit like a sledgehammer. Over $500,000 gone, funneled into accounts linked to David. When I confronted them at our family dinner table, the polished oak surface reflecting the candlelight like accusatory eyes, David's face paled. "It's not what it looks like, Harlan," he'd stammered, his voice smooth as oil. "Investment's gone bad. I'll fix it." Emily had jumped in, her eyes flashing. "Dad, you're paranoid. David's been nothing but loyal. You're the one who's been distant, obsessed with the business." Her words stung, but I pressed on, showing the evidence. That's when the shift happened, subtle at first. She touched David's arm, a gesture of solidarity that made my stomach churn. "We're a team, Dad. You need to trust us." Trust. The word echoed in my head now as the bailiff called Emily to testify. She strode to the stand, her heels clicking on the linoleum like gunfire, her designer suit, a gift from me, hugging her frame. Under oath, she lied effortlessly. "My father has always been controlling," she said, her voice steady, eyes avoiding mine. "He handled the finances secretly. David and I discovered the discrepancies only recently. We had no choice but to report it." The courtroom air thickened, heavy with a scent of stale coffee and desperation. My fists clenched under the table, nails digging into palms until I felt warm blood. Anger boiled inside me, not just at her words, but at the ease of her betrayal. Was this resentment built over years? Had I been too hard, too focused on legacy over love? Doubt crept in, an insidious whisper. Maybe I deserved this. But no. Heartbreak twisted into resentment. She'd chosen greed over blood. David followed, his testimony a masterclass in evasion. I respected Harlan, he said, finally glancing my way with feigned sorrow. But the evidence speaks for itself. His voice cracked artfully, but I saw the flicker in his eyes. Guilt, yes, but overlaid with calculation. He looked away again, unable to hold my stare. In that moment obsession took root. They thought they'd buried me, but I'd claw my way out. Revenge wasn't a fleeting thought. It was a promise, cold and resolute. The trial adjourned for the day, and I returned to my empty house, the once warm colonial now a tomb of echoes. Rain lashed the windows, thunder rumbling like my unresolved rage. I poured a scotch, the amber liquid burning my throat, and sat in the study, surrounded by photos of happier times. Emily's graduation, our family vacations. Each image fueled the fire. How could she laugh? Was it relief that I'd soon be out of the picture, or pure malice? Inner turmoil raged as I paced the creaking floorboards. Denial first. This couldn't be real. Emily loved me. It was David's manipulation. But flashbacks assaulted me. Her distant calls, the way she'd defended him over minor disputes. Then fantasies. Storming their home, confronting them with fists or words. But no, that was impulsive. I needed strategy. Doubt nagged. Was revenge worth it? She was my daughter. Guilt twisted the knife. Had my ambition driven her away? By midnight, resolve hardened. Play their game, but better. I rifled through old files, the musty scent of paper filling the air, searching for leverage. David had a gambling habit I'd overlooked. Emily had secrets from her youth I'd buried to protect her. Moral conflict gnawed. Using that against her would make me the monster they claimed. But humiliation demanded justice. I sketched plans in a notebook, the pen scratching like claws on bone. Anonymous tips, hacked accounts exposing their affair. Wait, affair. No, but rumors I'd heard. Perhaps David wasn't faithful. Subtle hints built suspense in my mind. A late-night text, an unfamiliar perfume on his collar during family dinners. The next day in court, tension simmered. Emily avoided me during recess, but I caught her whispering to David in the hallway. Their heads close, laughter bubbling again. Suppressed rage nearly erupted, but I held back, smiling faintly. "Emily," I called softly. She turned, her face a mask of composure. "Dad, this isn't the time." "Isn't it?" I replied, voice low. "You've made your choice. But remember, blood runs thick." Her eyes widened slightly, fear. But David pulled her away, murmuring, "Let's go." The exchange was natural, revealing her manipulation, his control. Suspense built. They sensed my shift, but underestimated the depth. Weeks blurred into hearings, evidence mounting against me. My lawyer fought, but the jury's eyes held judgment. Innerly I planned. Hired a PI discreetly, the cost draining my savings but worth it. Reports trickled in, David's offshore dealings, Emily's complicity in signing false documents. But deeper. Photos of David with another woman, late-night meetings. Heartbreak deepened. She'd betrayed me for a liar. Guilt resurfaced. Exposing this would shatter her. Was I obsessed? Fear of prison loomed, but resolve won. I'd wait for the verdict, then strike. Quiet calculation in solitary nights, the clock ticking like a bomb. The trial's climax approached, suspense coiling. On the stand I testified calmly, but inside fury raged. "I built this for my family," I said, voice steady. "And they've torn it down." Emily shifted uncomfortably. David looked away again. Hints of vengeance emerged. My knowing glance, a subtle nod to my lawyer about new evidence. But the jury deliberated, and doubt crept. What if I lost everything? Moral grayness enveloped me. Revenge justified, yet destructive. The story pushed forward, tension rising. The verdict came on a crisp autumn morning, leaves swirling outside like harbingers of change. "Guilty," the foreman intoned, the words slamming into me like a physical blow. The courtroom erupted in murmurs, but I heard only Emily's stifled gasp, relief or regret. David squeezed her hand, his face a portrait of false sympathy. Sentencing loomed in 2 weeks. Up to 5 years. Humiliation peaked as handcuffs clicked, cold metal biting my wrists. But in that moment, cold resolve crystallized. They'd won the battle, but the war was mine. Prison intake was a blur of strip searches and echoing shouts, the metallic tang of fear in the air. My cell was a concrete box, the thin mattress reeking of despair. Nights stretched endless, resentment festering. Letters from Emily arrived. Hypocritical pleas for forgiveness. "Dad, we had to do what was right," one read. I crumpled it, obsession fueling plans. Through smuggled contacts, an old business associate, I orchestrated from afar. The PI dug deeper. David's affair confirmed, with a secretary from the firm. Emily knew. No, but suspicions lingered in her texts, intercepted via hacked phones. Moral conflict intensified. Destroying her marriage would break her, but wasn't that poetic? Doubt whispered, "Forgive, move on." But heartbreak overrode. Her laughter haunted dreams, a spectral mockery. Fantasies evolved. Not violence, but exposure. Ruin their reputations, seize hidden assets. Parole came after 18 months. Good behavior and overcrowding my allies. Stepping into sunlight, the air sharp with freedom, I felt reborn in vengeance. My house sold in my absence, proceeds managed by them. I rented a dingy apartment, the walls peeling like old skin, and plotted meticulously. Sensory details grounded me. The hum of my laptop, the bitter coffee fueling all-nighters. First strike. Anonymous emails to investors, leaking David's embezzlement proofs I'd hidden pre-trial. The firm teetered, stocks plummeting. David called, voice frantic over the line. "Harlan, if this is you." "Me." I feigned innocence, suppressed rage bubbling. "You framed me, son. Karma's a bitch." He hung up, but tension heightened, he knew. Emily visited next, her face gaunt, eyes red-rimmed. The apartment's dim light cast shadows on her features, accentuating her weariness. "Dad, please. The business is crumbling." "David's struggling." Her voice cracked, revealing cracks in her facade. I poured tea, the steam rising like unspoken accusations. "You laughed, Emily. In court." She flinched, looking away like David had. "I was nervous," she lied softly. "Scared." "Scared of what?" "Losing the money you stole." My words were natural, laced with pain. She denied, but her trembling hands betrayed guilt. Manipulation surfaced. "We can fix this. Family." But I saw her motives. Salvage what's left. Heartache mingled with resolve. She was layered, driven by fear of poverty, perhaps regret. Yet betrayal lingered. Suspense built slowly. I fed the PI more leads. Emily's past, a college expulsion for plagiarism I'd covered up. Leaked to media subtly, scandals erupting. Their social circle shrank, whispers following them like shadows. David confronted me at a cafe, the espresso machine hissing in the background. "Stop this, old man," he growled, leaning close, breath sour with desperation. "Or you'll regret it." "Regret?" Chuckled coldly. "I've already lost everything. What more can you take?" His eyes flashed rage, but fear undercut it, moral complexity. He loved Emily in his twisted way, but greed defined him. Inner thoughts churned. Was this enough? Guilt nagged. I'd become the manipulator. Fear of backlash loomed. They might retaliate. But obsession pushed forward. Pivotal moment. Their anniversary party, invited ironically as reconciliation. The venue, a lavish hall, chandeliers twinkling like false stars. I arrived unannounced. the air thick with perfume and tension. Emily spotted me, smile faltering. "Dad, what are you doing here?" "Celebrating," I said, voice even. David approached, hand on her waist, possessive. Dialogue heightened suspense. "Harlan, let's talk outside." Outside, under sodium lights buzzing faintly. He confessed partially. "It was a mistake. The money. I needed it for debts." Emily didn't know at first. "Liar," I whispered. But doubt flickered. Had she been manipulated too? Back inside I mingled, dropping hints to guests. "Heard about the audits?" Whispers spread like wildfire. Emily pulled me aside, tears streaming. "Why are you doing this?" "I thought you loved me." "I do," I admitted, heartbreak raw. "That's why it hurts." Her confession tumbled. "David forced me to testify. Threatened divorce. I was scared, Dad." Layered truth. Her betrayal stemmed from weakness, not pure malice. Moral grayness deepened. My revenge targeted an abuser, but collateral was my daughter. Climax built. I revealed the affair photos, projected anonymously on the hall screen during toasts. Gasps echoed, the room's warmth turning icy. David lunged at me, but security intervened. Emily's scream pierced the chaos. "You bastard!" Directed at him. Or me. Twist unfolded. As police arrived, called by guests, Emily turned on David, testifying against him. "He made me lie," she sobbed to officers. But in her eyes, resentment toward me lingered. Poetic justice. David arrested for fraud, the truth emerging. Yet unexpected consequence. Emily, shattered, cut ties permanently. "You're no better than him, Dad," her final words, voice breaking. I stood alone in the emptying hall. Echoes fading, revenges taste bitter. Obsession satisfied, but guilt eternal. Heartbreak's cycle complete. Betrayal begot betrayal. In the end, the pursuit destroyed us all, a shocking echo of my own moral fall.